What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
I just worry about tokenism is all, you know?
I'm telling you, dude, you worry too much.
I know.
No, I get it. I get it. But look, we have a smart, science-minded audience, and this is our first episode about a woman.
Yeah.
So why not Marie Curie?
It's just, you know.
Look, dude, we're talking about a scientist, an inventor, fascinating life that not a lot of people know about.
I know. I just wonder, look, you know, I just wonder if, you know, Eli and Tom are going to actually be able to, you know.
Well, hello, gentlemen. It is I, Marie Curie.
And I am also Mary Carey.
I say, Marie, doth that blood come from my vag or my eyeballs?
Oh, for
who knows, Mary? Who knows?
You might have a point, Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
Vagina.
Clever version of hello. Sorry. What's Elvish for hello? I don't speak dork, whatever that is. Welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Tom, and I'll be leading this sausage fest. But I can't do it without the meatheads involved. First on the grill tonight, a slow-cooked bratwurst and vegan tofu loaf. Noah and Heath.
Yeah, that's right. My meat is hard to beat. Or at least she's usually unwilling. It's one of them. I like the former.
I am also having a bratwurst penis that I refer to as a lady. I'm not being vegan tofu guy. I'm not vegan tofu guy. Absolutely not.
No, that was the order he said them in. No. He said Noah and he.
Vito.
And also joining us tonight, an Oscar Mayer that was dropped on a barbershop floor and the mini pig in a blanket that nobody wanted, Eli and Cecil.
Wait.
Tom, I'll have you know that much like pigs in a blanket, I find that if someone is desperate enough, they'll give it a try.
And you often get passed around at a party, but nobody's proud of what they did afterwards. Very simple.
Not even his parents, actually. So, yeah.
Fuck, fantastic. Now, before we descend into the flowery scented ladiness that is this week's episode and the septic tank that will be our attempts to make it funny, I want to take a moment to thank our patrons. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. Unless, of course, you promise your wife or girlfriend that she would just give this episode a try because you promise they'll be better. So this show is like anal. This is basically anal. In any case, you should pledge now before you start dividing up your stuff.
The anal of podcasts.
Also invest in lube. With that out of the way, tell us, Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Well, Tom, as you've already subtly hinted, we'll be talking about Marie Curie, scientist, inventor, and lady person.
And Eli, you picked this topic in the desperate hope that people will forget how many penises are on this podcast. 4.5. The answer is 4.5. Anyway, Are you ready to give this feminist icon the respect she deserves?
No, Tom, I'm not. Because this is citation needed. Gonna make fun of names and pretend to be a pervert. How our show works.
I'll pretend to be a smoker. Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. In it to win it.
All right. So tell us, Eli, who was Marie Curie?
Well, Tom, she wasn't.
What?
Good night, everybody. I'm out.
I mean, she wasn't born Marie Curie. She was born Maria Salomea Sklodowska, which is Polish for glows in the dark.
I'm really glad this is taking on such a classy angle. This is great. Tasteful start, guys.
I have no idea what people were expecting, Tom. We did an episode of our comedy show about the Donner Party.
That is a fair assessment. Continue. Thank
you. So, Mizzle for Rizzle, as she was known, was born on November 7th,
I don't think
1867.
I don't think you're doing the Izzle thing right. It's not even close. Nope.
Oh, Rizzle Heath? Rizzle? Then why did that guy look like Snoop Dogg? Let me pay him $40 for lessons. She was the fifth and youngest of two teachers, Branislawa and Władysław Sklodowski.
You are killing these pronunciations.
Thank you. Who passed along to their young daughter a fierce curiosity and a stupid name meant to make future podcasters look bad. So I'm going to call them Bronny and Y.
Bronny and Y. God.
Hilarious punsmanship. Whatever. Don't worry about it. So as I was saying, they were both teachers. Wlad was the teacher of two Warsaw schools, but when he lost his position for pro-Polish sentiments, the family made do by lodging boys in the house, a solution that has been shot down by my business partners several times as both a solution for our financial and leak-related woes. Just saying.
I told you, you're not allowed to write brothel in the license application. They're going to reject it, and you wrote it anyway.
Yeah, no one's going to let you around young boys. I'd be surprised if you passed this screening to be a Bananas foster parent.
Just Eli trying to buy a banana at the supermarket. Sir, you got to stop throwing alcohol in matches. Nope. No torches. Stop it. Stop it.
All right. Well, okay, he was the one who wasn't getting into the spirit in my defense. Now, Bronny, on the other hand, operated a prestigious boarding school for girls. She resigned when Marie was born and died when she was just 10 years old, just 3 years after Maria's oldest sibling, Zofia, with a Z, because I can straight up fuck myself, died of typhus, causing young Marie to follow the tradition of all great Christian movies and become an atheist. Now, unable to enroll in a regular institution of higher education because she was a woman, spoiler alert, that's going to happen a lot.
What, that she's going to be a woman? That's going to happen a lot?
And over.
Every damn time, Tom. Every damn time. So instead, she and her sister Branislawa became involved with the clandestine Flying University.
Awesome.
Yeah, sometimes translated as Floating University, which is way less fucking cool than it sounds, because it was just a stupid secret school that let women in.
I bet their Harry Potter broom sport team was fucking pretty rad, though.
While saving money for school, Maria took a position as a governess. First as a home tutor in Warsaw, then for 2 years as a governess in a place that is spelled SZCZUKI. So I'm going to pronounce it, fuck you, future podcaster. Fuck you right in the butthole. I think that's how it's meant to be pronounced.
Polish is the linguistic equivalent of our inbox.
So, quick side story. While working for that latter family, she fell in love with their son, Kazimierz Zawadzki, a future eminent mathematician. Now, his parents rejected the idea of his marrying the penniless relative, and Kazimierz went along like a bitch. But this side story has a happy ending. See, Kazimierz wound up a mathematics professor at Warsaw Polytechnic, where, according to the article, quote, he would sit contemplatively before the statue of Maria Sklodowska, which had been erected in 1935 before the Radium Institute.
It's not even the right number of syllables. Yeah. That's amazing.
No R anywhere in there. It's just, well, you should have said Maria Peterson. It would have been as accurate.
Which had been erected in 1935.
It just rolls right
I'm not
past
going back for it. I'm not going back for it.
Oh, my God.
It's gone. It's in the past now. I live life forward. I'm a motivational poster. I'm a living, breathing motivational poster. I'm on the 21 day fix, and I'm living my best life. the Radium Institute that she founded in 1932. So the point is of this little side story, if you think running into your ex is bad, try running into her statue in front of the school she founded. Has a real sting to it.
Well, yeah, but back then statues were all pretty much the only thing that you could beat off too. So it made sense that he would have that off.
You can beat off to other things than Okay, I got to stop that part.
This is actually where the phrase "bust a nut" came from. Bust statue. Come on my tits. Not a bust.
All right. There we go. Good. So back to our story. While saving money and working, Marie continued to educate herself, reading books, exchanging letters, and being tutored herself. She studied at the Flying University some more and began her practical scientific training in a chemical laboratory at the Museum of Industry and Agriculture at Krakowski.
Yeah, but how much student loan debt was she taking on?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
And how is she planning to ever please a man? I don't think she's learning any good.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Trust me, Heath. It killed her. Radium. In late 1891, she left Poland for France. In Paris, Maria, now Marie, because she got all Frenchified, briefly found shelter with her sister and brother-in-law before renting a garret closer to the university in the Latin Quarter and proceeding with her studies of physics, chemistry, and mathematics at the University of Paris, where she enrolled in late 1891.
Fucking immigrants.
Stealing all the good scientific breakthrough jobs from everyday French people.
Exactly.
Fucking goulash truck on every corner.
Now, like all college students, she was suffering from cold winters and occasionally fainting from hunger because ramen noodles and stealing your friend's dining hall ID hadn't been invented yet.
Also, having your friend fake ADHD and getting a prescription for Adderall and then trading that friend the drugs you sell for large fistfuls of the Adderall during finals probably didn't get invented yet either.
How did people pass college then?
I feel like you could go to a corner store and get cocaine, though, so she didn't. But I guess.
Yeah, right.
You just like walk into Dwayne Reed and be like, ugh, and they were like, here, have some heroin. So in 1893, she was awarded a degree in physics and began work in an industrial laboratory of Professor Gabriel Lippmann. Meanwhile, she continued studying at the University of Paris, and with the aid of a fellowship, she was able to earn a second degree in 1894. So, for those keeping track, a woman who did not have enough food to eat earned 2 more scientific degrees than I ever will by the age of 27. Marie had begun her scientific career in Paris with the investigation of the magnetic properties of various steels, commissioned by the Society for the Encouragement of National Industry, or as the French say, Société d'Encouragement pour l'Industrie Nationale.
Nope. Very little of that.
So that same year, Pierre Curie entered her life. Pierre was an instructor at the School of Physics and Chemistry, or as the French say,
École
supérieure de physique et de chimie industrielle de la vie de Paris.
Please stop. Just do the.
So
you're having enough trouble with English.
So they were introduced by a mutual friend who had learned that Marie was looking for a larger laboratory space, something that the friend thought Pierre had access to. Now, Pierre did not have access to a large laboratory, but like any smart man, he pretended he had animal handling experience so he could hang out with a cute redhead at the haunted house he was working in.
Thus continuing the long and storied tradition of French men pretending it's bigger than it is. Oh, my laboratory? Shit, yeah, I've had complaints. Literal complaints.
I am, how you say, a grower, not a shower.
So eventually, Pierre proposed marriage. But at first, Marie did not accept, as she was still planning to go back and live in her native country. Pierre, however, decided that he was ready to move with her to Poland, even if it meant being reduced to teaching French, because his greatest discovery was that nerds fuck better.
No, I have a feeling this is not in the article again.
Well, then they should stop banning me as an editor on Wikipedia.
Yeah, man, the spectrum is where it's at. The more timid the eye contact, the better. That's common knowledge.
Jesus.
Because all jocks ever think about is sports, and all we ever think about is sex. Lewis from Revenge and There said that after he Darth raped a cheerleader.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Yeah.
True story.
Movies were disturbingly rapey in my childhood. Also churches.
Marie returned to Warsaw, where she visited her family. She was hoping she'd be able to work in her chosen field in Poland, but she was denied a place at Krakow University because, you guessed it, she was a woman. So Pierre convinced her to return to Paris to pursue her PhD. At Marie's insistence, Pierre had written up his research on magnetism and received his own doctorate in March of 1895. He was also promoted to a professor at the school. A contemporary quip would call Marie, quote, Pierre's biggest discovery, end quote, because the phrase, baby man dragged into adulthood by a woman he wouldn't deserve, wouldn't be invented until my father-in-law's speech at my wedding.
I don't know, you mean invented. I think you mean perfected.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Eli was Anna's safety school. Kind of like NYU. That's the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry, Heath. I didn't realize I was the #1 dream husband in the country. Go Violets! Go Violets!
Go Violets? Did you think ending with Go Violets was making the point stronger?
All right, Eli, any more references to your wife? And this is a Valentine's Day episode. And besides, Noah married his child bride back when dinosaurs ruled the earth. You don't see him talking about it all day.
You guys are just jealous of the giant bugs we could ride on. We could ride on giant bugs. You assholes.
Well, speaking of marriage, on July 26th of 1895, they were married. Neither wanted a religious service because they were big old atheists, and atheists are the best kind of people. Marie's dark blue outfit, worn instead of a bridal gown, would serve her for many years as her laboratory outfit.
All right, well, spring has sprung, love is in the air, and a mediocre man is about to get the credit for all of his wife's work. Seems like the perfect time for us to take a quick break and for our women listeners to find the eyeballs that rolled out of their heads in a section we like to call Apropos of Nothing.
I don't wanna.
Heath, just read your lines.
You be the girl.
Heath, do not fall into the lazy comic archetype of resistance to femininity.
But it's meta because of this part. It's fine.
No, I'm being meta. I'm being meta.
Fine.
My darling Marie, how I love you. Won't you help me with my homework?
Oh, Pierre.
Lady voice. Do a lady voice.
Gender is a construct. Fine. Fine. Oh, Pierre. I don't know. Fuck. All right, I got it. Oh, Pierre. No
Excellent.
problem, my darling. Here, this is how magnets fit together. Whatever bullshit you're studying.
Ah, fantastic. What a fantastic team we are.
Yeah, team. Right.
But my love, don't you know my love for you is like the half-life of radium, which is
1600 years.
Yepers, totally 16 years.
100
years. 100 years. I will love you.
And we're back. When last we left Marie, she was doing her damnedest to give her husband a piggyback ride into scientific excellence while sexist threw rocks at her. Eli, where does our story pick up?
Oh, I know this. The Mythicist Milwaukee Conference.
Oh, shit.
Close. There's Jew hate in a second. Don't spoil it. Now, we're going to talk about another character entirely for a second.
This is the Book of Mormon of Citation Needed episodes, Eli. A new character. Oh, and there's this other character. Next thing you're going to tell me you have some bullshit name like Wilhelm Röntgen.
Only because you pronounced it first? No. That is the only reason I'll be saying that name. So in 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen.
So close.
Not really.
Well, I thought
I got the R. I nailed the R. I got
the W was pretty good.
I got nervous because it just rolled off his tongue. I don't want to. Okay. Anyways, Willie R's discovered the existence of X-rays, though at the time nobody knew how it worked. They were just like, "Hey man, stand near this. Now I can see your bones." So in 1896, Henry Becquerel discovered that uranium salts emitted rays that resembled X-rays in their penetrating power. He demonstrated that this radiation, unlike phosphorescence, did not depend on an external source of energy, but seemed to arise spontaneously from the uranium itself. He did not note how often pooping blood came up in conversation after these experiments, but he probably should have.
Speaking of which, how'd that physical go, Eli? Apropos of nothing.
Hi, this is State Farm. We found traces of stool in your ass blood. That's That's an improvement since last time, but still, it's a hard no. It's a hard no on the policy.
Also, Heath, I asked you to keep that between you and me and our shared diary. So, anyways, influenced by these two important discoveries, Marie decided to look into uranium rays as a possible field of research for a thesis, using an electrometer invented by her husband and brother.
Not electrometer.
Is that not how that works?
Electrometer.
Oh, electrometer? Why is there no O in it then? There is an O in it. I just saw
an electro. It's a hard. I love you, man.
Got myself with that one. Good job. Wow. All right, pushing through. I am a professional. Pro. Using an electrometer, a lot of people don't know that word, invented by her husband and brother, she discovered that uranium rays cause the air around a sample to conduct electricity. Using this technique, her first result was the finding that the activity of the uranium compounds depended only on the quantity of uranium present. She hypothesized that the radiation was not the outcome of some interaction of molecules, but must come from the atom itself.
Okay, Eli, look, I'm sure that Noah and Cecil are eagerly nodding along, but for everyone else at home, what the fuck does that mean?
That's a great question, Tom. Well, you see, people used to think that you couldn't split the atom, and she took the first step in discovering they were wrong. Question mark. Glance at Noah.
No, I mean, she did that, yes, from the next paragraph in the article, but I mean, that's not what the stuff you just said meant. Exactly.
All right, good. Yeah, let's just remember, who started all the nuclear wars? Women, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
You know
That's
what?
the
Yes.
lesson.
You're damn right, Tom.
And if you're pointing out, if you're thinking to yourself, there haven't been any nuclear wars, keep in mind, we record in advance. So we don't know. He hasn't given the UN speech yet. We don't know how that's going to go.
So in 1897, Marie's daughter Irene was born. To support her family, Curie began teaching at the École Normale Supérieure, or in English, the School Normal Superior. I translated that one myself, little high school French. So it's important to note the Curies did not have a dedicated laboratory. Most of their research was carried out in a converted shed next to the School of Physics and Chemistry that, according to the Wikipedia article, was designed to fucking kill Pierre and Marie Curie. Listen to this quote from the article. Quote, the shed, formerly a medical school dissecting room, was poorly ventilated and not even waterproof. They were unaware of the deleterious effects of radiation exposure attendant on their continued unprotected work with radioactive substances.
So a wet shed full of uranium was where they used to dissect the medical students? I feel confused by this.
Well, it was a wet shed full of uranium with a baby playpen in the corner. Fish and Price. It's right there.
Go in your cage in the corner and play with the Quado coming out of your chest.
Curie's systematic studies included two uranium minerals, pitchblende and torbanite, also known as chalcolite, all three of which aren't names for Pokemon, but should be. So her electrometer, a lot of people don't know that word, but it's pretty easy once you get it, showed that pitchblende was 4 times as active as uranium itself, and chalcolite was twice as active. She concluded that if her earlier results relating the quantity of uranium to its activity were correct, then these two minerals must contain smaller quantities of another substance that was far more active than uranium.
Fascinating, Eli. So she was sure there was something in the rocks.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's going to turn out to be polonium.
See, Marie Curie killed Alexander Litvinenko. Vladdy's off the hook. Vladdy's off the hook.
When I first read that, I thought you were agreeing with how awesome Putin is, not that he was innocent. I thought you're like, Vladdy's off the hook.
I feel like having the words Vladdy's off the hook somewhere in your internet history is going to, like, it might save my life. I might not.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
V-Dog. Oh.
Take them off the list. They are good. They are with me. It is fine. It's not for worry.
All of a sudden, that other citation needed shuts down and disappears. He's crazy. Skin
Just
cancer.
one sad radioactive guy giving his last message in the fucking
His lips are falling off while he's talking.
This week's episode is about chemotherapy. It's a real bitch, people. At this time, Pierre was working on something with crystals, but he was pretty sure her idea was cooler, so he dropped that to work with her. Interesting passage from her biography here. The research idea was her own. No one helped her formulate it, and although she took it to her husband for his opinion, she clearly established her ownership of it. She later recorded the fact twice in her biography of her husband to ensure that there was no chance whatever of any ambiguity. It is likely that at this early stage of her career, she realized that many scientists would find it difficult to believe that a woman could be capable of the original work in which she was involved.
She's just like stamping every page with her vagina. Hey, what you doing there? It's not watermarks. Don't worry about it. Watermarks. Just making sure. It's a watermark.
So remember, kids, Marie Curie was not just the first lady scientist ever.
She was not remotely the first lady scientist ever, actually.
Well, interrupting, rude. Anyways, she is not just that. She is also the first lady scientist who wouldn't allow her husband to sign his name to her work like a toddler signing a Mother's Day card.
Yeah, but at least the parent made the toddler.
So she publishes her work as fast as she can. But someone beats her to it by 2 months, completely confusing anyone who doesn't work in academia listening to this podcast and causing everyone else who does to nod along ruefully. But in July of 1898, Curie and her husband published a joint paper announcing the existence of an element which they named polonium in honor of her native Poland. On the 26th of December, 1898, the Curies announced the existence of a second element, which they named radium, for the Latin word for ray. In the course of their research, they also coined the word radioactively.
What word did they coin?
In the course of their research, I mean that too, but in the course of their research, they also coined the word radioactivity.
And then France would have to wait 41 more years to get an element named after it. Like a bitch. Poland was way ahead of you if you don't count gallium.
All right, Eli, for $1,000 and the promise to wear matching friendship bracelets for a year.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, here we go.
What element was named after France?
Please say white flagstone. Please say white flagstone. Please say white flagstone. White flagstone. Say it.
Chrysantium.
So close. It was francium.
It was.
Damn it!
Actually, thought you might stumble into that one.
I overthought it. I let you get in my head. Okay. So, to prove their discoveries beyond any doubt, the Curies sought to isolate polonium and radium in pure form. From a ton of pitchblende, 1/10 of a gram of radium chloride was separated in 1902. In 1910, she isolated pure radium metal, but she never succeeded in isolating polonium, which has a half-life of only 138 days.
Slacker. But I mean, the whole time they're just going like, oh, if we could only get rid of these non-deadly bits, then we would...
Exactly.
So polonium was to Marie Curie as sea monkeys are to Heath. then.
Exactly. Exactly.
I will eventually remove them from a stone like Excalibur. And I shall rise victorious as King of the Britons.
So, between 1898 and 1902, the Curies published jointly or separately a total of 32 scientific papers, including one that announced that when exposed to radium, diseased tumor-forming cells were destroyed faster than healthy cells, all while demonstrating on themselves that sifting through rocks for a tiny amount of polonium isn't so great for the healthy cells either.
Look, Ma, no hands. No, I mean, I literally have no hands here. I need new sifters. Help me.
But Quado has 8 now. Use him. He's fine. He'll be good for a while.
Right. So in 1900, Curie became the first woman faculty member at the École Normale Supérieure.
I will stab you. Just do it in English.
Or School Normal Super, as we say in America.
Okay.
And her husband joined the faculty of the University of Paris. In June of 1903, Curie was awarded her doctorate from the University of Paris. That month, the couple were invited to the Royal Institution in London to give a speech on radioactivity. But being a woman, she was prevented from speaking, and Pierre alone was allowed to, which, considering she did most of the work, I assumed involved a lot of her coughing scientific terms at him from the back.
I like that they invited both of them, but they only let the guy talk. Like what? Are they buying a new car here or something? Like, what's...
And the lady will have the discovering rhodium to start.
Radium.
Sorry, radium. Discovering radium to start. We're going to share that, actually.
In 1903, in December, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded Pierre Curie, Marie Curie, and Henry Becquerel the Nobel Prize in Physics. At first, the committee intended to honor only Pierre and Becquerel, but one of the committee members and an advocate of women scientists, Swedish mathematician Mangus Gosta Mittag-Leffler. He's not important to the story. I just
Could you do it in French, actually? Could you do him in French? That would be better.
Leffler. Anyways, that guy alerted Pierre to the situation, and after his complaint, Marie's name was added to the nomination. Anyway, Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize or something. I don't know. It was pretty cool.
And that's when the sciences stopped being sexist. You can tell because in the 114 years since, 4 other women have also been awarded Nobel Prizes in physics or chemistry out of the 370 that have been awarded.
Yeah, geez, no, you fucking right. They got the Nobel Prize gap. They got the wage gap. They got the thigh gap. Geez, women get everything.
Right?
They get everything.
Thank you.
I think I speak for famous geneticists everywhere when I say it's because all women are Muslim or something.
Also, they're more neurotic and don't negotiate as hard for Nobel Prizes. And I'm fired from Google.
It's a Google joke. He wasn't.
Speaking of the dead, on April 19th of 1906, Pierre was killed in a road accident walking across the Rue Dauphin, or Road of Dolphins as we say in English, in heavy rain. He was struck by a horse-drawn vehicle, swerving to avoid a dolphin, and fell under its wheels, which squished his skull, and that made him die.
Yeah. And though he didn't know it at the time, that actually makes him the lucky Curie.
Yeah. Quick correction. Lucky Curie was actually their grandson, and coincidentally, Lucky Curie, like a dolphin, had flipper hands.
Okay, but here's my question. How do you get hit by a horse-drawn vehicle? Doesn't that just mean you got hit by horses?
Testable claims, Patreon goal. So Marie was devastated by her husband's death because he did not have $2 million in life insurance. On 13th of May, 1906, the physics department of the University of Paris decided to retain the chair that had been created for Pierre and offer it to Marie. She accepted it, hoping to create a world-class laboratory as a tribute to Pierre.
Yeah, a tribute to Pierre, and maybe also to science instead of the gardening shed of doom that she was stuck in before.
Perhaps. But either way, she was the first woman to become a professor at the University of Paris.
Yeah, but she was only like 4 parts out of 370 a professor or something. Right?
That's the ratio. The golden ratio.
So as promised, in 1910, Curie succeeded in isolating radium. She also defined an international standard for radioactive emissions that was eventually named after her and Pierre, the Curie. Nevertheless, in 1911, the French Academy of Sciences did not elect her to be a member because she had a vagina and wouldn't get their hilarious blowjob jokes.
Okay, so sexism, scientific discoveries, but have you got any international intrigue for us?
Oh, I sure do, Tom. I sure do. See, despite Curie's fame as a scientist working in France, the French didn't like her because they thought she was Jewish. During the French Academy of Sciences elections, she was vilified by the right-wing press, who criticized her for being a foreigner and an atheist.
Wait, hold on. They thought she was a Jew, so they pointed out that she was an atheist? The French were terrible at anti-Semitism back then.
They've gotten so much better at it. It's true.
Yeah, no,
they are really great at it now.
Yeah, that whole surrender thing in 1940, super passive-aggressive to the Jews.
See, but then in 1911, it was revealed that Curie had conducted an affair of about a year's duration with the physicist Paul Langevin, a former student of Pierre's, a married man who was estranged from his wife and 5 years her junior. So obviously, since she was a lady, sleeping with one of your married students was frowned upon because, I mean, come on, guys, only men are allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Am I
right.
Yeah.
Well, Dawson's Creek brought it back very tastefully in the 90s, though. The lady sleeping with the student child.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over in like 4 years because it's the early 20th century.
And we can work with radium. Yeah.
Right. So this affair resulted in a press scandal that was exploited by her academic opponents. Curie, then in her mid-40s, was misrepresented in the tabloids as a foreign Jewish atheist homewrecker. When the scandal broke, she was away at conferences in Belgium, but on her return, she found an angry mob in front of her house and had to seek refuge with her daughters in the home of her friend.
I mean, really, seems like a reasonable reaction to a 35-year-old fucking a 40-year-old. And entirely genderless. There's no gender. You're the one starting drama here, Eli. You.
Now, luckily, international recognition for her work had been growing to new heights, and the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, overcoming opposition prompted by the Langevingen scandal, honored her a second time.
Twofer.
Yeah.
Yes, with the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, making her the first person to win or share 2 Nobel Prizes, and remains alone with Linus Pauling as Nobel laureates in 2 fields
That's
each.
not alone, but yeah.
Curie's
Remains alone with someone.
alone with Linus. If I'm alone, I think we're alone. Now, obviously, we're not alone because we're together.
It's not a vacuum if Linus Pauling and a feather are in it with her. That's stupid. Just fall the same speed as the bowling ball. It's not a vacuum, though. That's dumb.
Curie's second Nobel Prize enabled her to persuade the French government into supporting the Radium Institute, built in 1914, where research was conducted in chemistry, physics, and medicine on the new street named Rue Pierre Curie.
Where some young budding scientist's husband might someday get his skull crushed by a horse.
That horse's name, Albert Einstein. And now you know the rest of the story.
I love it.
I don't think I do.
Well, here's the capper. Now an Eastern European woman is First Lady of the United States. Really come a long way. Women are crushing it.
Okay, award winner, seductress, and double Nobel Prize winner. Next, you're going to tell me she led men into battle and won the war on her own.
Well, kinda. During World War I, Curie recognized that wounded soldiers would best be served if operated on as soon as possible.
Wait, this was a revelation she had to come to? Well, how long should we wait on that one? I don't. Now? Now should we? No? Now? How about now?
Yeah, what were they doing before this? Like, okay, wait, don't touch. You got to let them soak like a dirty dish first. You can't just go and fix them right away.
Right, so she saw a need for field radiological centers near the front lines to assist battlefield surgeons. Here's the quote from Wikipedia. Quote, after a quick study of radiology, anatomy, and automotive mechanics, she procured X-ray equipment, vehicles, auxiliary generators, and developed mobile radiography units, which came to be popularly known as Petit Curie, or Little Curies, end quote.
That's what they also called the flipper-handed grandson. Call back. Totally killed it.
I just want to be clear. She was sitting around and she was like, I bet mobile radiography units are a thing that don't fucking exist yet, but I bet that would be cool. Get me a truck, some poison rocks, and a copy of Grey's Anatomy. Boom, there you go. I'm Marie Curie. She became the director of the Red Cross Radiology Service and set up France's first military radiology center, operated by late 1914. Assisted at first by a military doctor and by her 17-year-old daughter Irene, Curie directed the installation of 20 mobile radiological vehicles and another 200 radiological units at field hospitals in the first year of the war. Later, she began training other women as aides.
Yeah, that original MASH pilot was super dark. It did not get picked up.
Glow in the dark. So in 1915, Curie produced hollow needles containing radium emanation, a colorless radioactive gas given off by radium, later identified as radon, to be used for sterilizing infected tissue. She provided the radium from her own 1-gram supply, and it is estimated that over 1 million wounded soldiers were treated with her X-ray units. In spite of all her humanitarian contributions to the French war effort, Curie never received any formal recognition of it from the French government. None. And those assholes gave medals to dogs and horses and shit.
It's just only one of the many ways Marie Curie is like Chewbacca. He dies of radiation poisoning in the next movie. I didn't know if everybody else had heard.
He's just standing in the shower and the drain clogs from all his falling out hair. He's like crying on his friend's shoulder. Lando carcinogen.
Just all hairless and shaky Chewbacca.
Can't get insurance. Spent like $4 million on a $2 million policy and premiums already. Podcasting for a living.
Spending his 30th birthday at a fundraiser in New Jersey instead of dead like he promised himself. It's really sad. Don't watch that movie. It's sad and it never ends.
All right, Eli, not that this isn't all comedy gold, but did she ever get the recognition she deserved?
I don't know, man. People write me nice Facebook messages and stuff. But I'm just... I see them like twice a month. I see you once a year, but it's just a lot of me and a desk. Oh, you met Marie Curie. Sorry. Oh, so in America, see, she actually got recognition in America, Tom, the country that loves women. Finally, in 1920, for the 25th anniversary of the discovery of radium, the French government established a stipend for her. Its previous recipient was Louis Pasteur. In 1921, she was welcomed triumphantly when she toured the United States to raise funds for research on radium.
Uranium bake sales, very popular.
It's the original Easy Bake Oven. You just put this rock next to like whatever and it cooks. People, food, batter.
Or bubbles, whatever. So in 1921, U.S. President Warren G. Harding received her at the White House to present her with the 1 gram of radium collected in the United States, which was a very nice gesture at the time and is a terrifying gesture now.
Right?
Finally throw in, give her a blunt too. Like, all right, we're in this.
Yeah, no, back then, though, it was just radium was just wedged in between porcelain and lace on the anniversary list. So they had no fucking idea.
I just see him like smearing it all over his palm before shaking her hand.
Now, in 1922, she became a fellow of the French Academy of Medicine. Led by Curie, the institute produced 4 more Nobel Prize winners, including her daughter, Irene Joliot-Curie, and her son-in-law, Frederick Joliot-Curie. In August of 1922... Thank you. In August of 1922, Marie Curie became a member of the newly created International Commission for Intellectual Cooperation of the League of Nations. 1925, she visited Poland to participate in the ceremony that laid foundations for the Radium Institute in Warsaw. Her second American tour in 1929 succeeded in equipping the Warsaw Radium Institute with radium. Not sure what they were doing before then. It seems like there was a 4-year period where they were just like, pew, pew. Who wants to play some ping pong? Anyways, it was opened in 1932, and her sister, Bronislawa, remember her from the beginning, became its director. In 1930, she was elected a member of the International Atomic Weights Committee, where she served until her death.
Her death of, I assume, too many metals, right? Yes.
Sadly, Tom, no. On July 4th of 1934, she died at the St. Clement's Sanatorium from a plastic anemia believed to have been contracted from her long-term exposure to radiation.
You think?
At which point she looked almost exactly like Jeff Sessions right now. And that's the important thing to remember about her life, her physical appearance. That's the important takeaway of this whole essay.
Silver lining.
So, as we have been both delicately and honorably hinting, the damaging effects of ionizing radiation were not known at the time of her work, but they're bad, which had been carried out without the safety measures later developed. She carried test tubes containing radioactive isotopes in her pocket. She stored them in her desk drawer, remarking on the faint light that the substance gave off in the dark.
Yeah, she also said the same thing about her teeth.
Until they fell out.
Curie was also exposed to X-rays from unshielded equipment while serving as a radiologist in the field hospitals during the war. Because of the levels of radioactive contamination, her papers from the 1890s are considered too dangerous to handle.
Shit.
Even her cookbook is highly radioactive.
Yeah.
They are kept in lead-lined boxes, and those who wish to consult them must wear protective clothing.
Just Gordon Ramsay doing an episode through a wall with lead gloves, yelling at people inside.
It's burned. It's burned. Everything's burned, Gordon. Everything's burned. And although her many decades of exposure to radiation caused chronic illnesses, including ear blindness due to cataracts, and ultimately her death, she never actually acknowledged the health risks of radiation exposure.
Yeah, it's so hard to see when it's right in front of your face. And when you're near blind, I mean, it's hard to see things that are like right in front of your face.
It's fair. Helps if you're glowing, though. If it's glowing,
that's true.
if both of you are glowing, that helps.
Yeah.
She was interred at the cemetery in Skak.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Finally nailed one.
That's it.
Finally nailed one right at the end.
That's angry scat porn. That's what that is.
Is there not angry scat porn?
I think there's probably cuddling.
Oh, God.
Alongside with her husband, Pierre. 60 years later, in 1995, in honor of their achievements, the remains of both were transferred to the Pantheon in Paris. She became the first woman to be honored with interment in the Pantheon on her own merits.
All right, and if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Women can't control their emotions.
Oh.
Jesus.
All right. Well, that was seriously terrible. Are you ready for the quiz?
Like an isotope to a cantaloupe.
I don't. Does anyone know what that means? Any guesses
Those
at
are
all?
English
One?
words in an order.
They rhymed.
Yeah.
He rhymed them. He was
there you
rhyming.
go. All right, so I got a question for you here, Eli. Before we discovered its ability to give you fish babies, radium was a shockingly popular consumer product. Which of the following actual real consumer uses for radium in the 1920s was the stupidest? Was it A, radium toothpaste to give you a glowing smile? I'm not making any of these up.
I feel like it has to be all of the above at the end. I don't know.
So,
I haven't even heard of that.
yeah, right. Wait until I get to the end here. B, radium-infused chocolate.
Really?
Under the brand name Chocolate. I'm not making that shit up. I love that. Was it C, radium suppositories?
Okay, that's a winner.
For a warm asshole, I guess.
Or other things. You don't have to put it in.
Or was it D? Wait, we're getting there. Was it D? Radium-infused wax rods inserted into the urethra to treat impotence.
Don't pick D.
I'm going to think it's the first one. I think it's radium toothpaste to give you a glowing smile.
You don't think it's sticking it in your dick? You do not think that's the...
I do not. No, it's sticking to my gut.
I guess you...
Final answer.
Well, I guess you're right then. I'm surprised to learn this.
Sticking in your dick was smarter. That's what Eli just said. Okay, I got a question for you too. Which of the following is the most popular section of Marie Curie's radioactive cookbook? Was it A, Eat, Ray, Glove? Was it B, Italian isotopes? Was it C, Asian fission? Or was it D, I have full body cancer, my blood is burnt ketchup, and I'm not hungry?
I'm going to go with Eat, Ray, Glove. Eat, Ray, Glove.
That's correct. Eat, Ray, Glove.
All right, I'll give this a whirl. Pierre took credit for virtually everything Marie did until he died, and then suddenly she won every possible award and medal, and I think she became the king. I don't know. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. What other world achievements did Pierre try to claim as his own? A, inventor of the Sibian. B, first man to ascend to the moon without oxygen. C, he threw a football over those mountains. Or D, he took the red pill, sheeple.
All right, let's see. He's not a famous atheist, so it's not D. If it's sports, you wouldn't know, and you can't get to the moon without a snorkel, so I'm going to go with A, inventor of the Sibian.
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
All right, Eli, last question.
Hit me, best friend.
Marie did a lot of dangerous things throughout her life, like carrying radioactive substances around on her person. What other dangerous thing is this woman famous for? A, traveling to Aruba alone. B, dipping her French fries in pleurisy.
Delicious.
C, being a child beauty pageant queen.
Whoa.
Problematic.
Or D, listening to the ground to pinpoint approaching stagecoaches.
I hear what, Squish.
Cecil, you tried to lure me in with the answer C, and you know what? It fucking worked because the answer is C.
No, it was a more topical answer. Traveling to Aruba alone. A, sorry.
Okay, Cecil, you stumped your best friend, which means
Not true.
it still means you get to choose next week's essay.
Well, I'm going to choose my real best friend, Heath, to do it. I think that's who I should choose.
Thank
I
you.
want it to be as hurtful
Cecil.
as possible, actually. Yeah.
Lash out in front of the School Natural d'Esplanade.
Now I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Tom. Last week's question was, what was the name of the apocryphal clown that supposedly tipped the Eastland over? And what was his act? The answer comes from She-Bear Melee on Twitter with Obi Clown Kenobi performing his popular Force Push Friday. This week's question is, what would be the title of a romantic comedy about Marie and Pierre Curie? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Tom.
All right, well, for Eli, Noah, Heath, and Cecil, I'm Tom. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Heath will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can participate in bi-weekly hilarity with Cecil and myself over cognitive dissonance, or you can join in the grumbling about movies, religion, and politics at our god-awful movies, The Skeptocrat and the Scathing Atheist. Eli also has a blog. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, because there's still blogs, it turns out, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, if you hit your kids, you can't listen to our show.
Sorry, bleu.
Stop. Really? Just don't.
Le jambe de
Don't-
la
oh
toile
my
est
God.
très facile.
Stop, please.
Ma
Don't.
mère est un change extérieur.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
That line doesn't work at all. That line doesn't work at all.
don't worry, Tom.
It was great.
I can pick it up. I can pick it up. I'm a professional, damn it. But don't worry, Tom. Because, all right, well, now I can. Now I can because I'm being laughed at. I'm trying to keep this together.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/get started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get started.